as so many other institutions and denominations turn their backs to these individuals, one priest from St. George's Episcopal Church stood bravely and clearly and said, St. George's is a place for all people. So on the radio the other day, I heard a story that many of you may have heard before. A man is walking along the seashore, and stretched out in front of him are hundreds, maybe thousands of starfish. And as he walks along, he picks up the starfish and he casts it back into the sea. Another man walks along the seashore and sees him doing this, and he says, "Why are you doing this? Can't you see how many starfish there are? What does it matter? Like, what difference can you possibly make?" At which point, the man doesn't ever lose stride. He picks up another starfish, he casts it back in the sea, and he said, "Maybe so, but I can make a difference. If only one starfish at a time. Because for that starfish, it is everything." Thinking about this as we move into another week in this season of Pentecost, we are faced with a Jesus that names without really mincing any words whatsoever what it means to follow him. Not only that our lives are precious and known, like a sparrow, his eye is on the sparrow. Did you hear that song in your head as you were listening to the gospel? But also that stark reality that our acts of faith, however they come and however they manifest themselves, and even if they are the object of scorn and ridicule. The disciples have just been called. Last week we read about the calling of his disciples, and Jesus is not sugarcoating what comes next. Now, I have to admit to you that, I don't know about Mother Stephanie, but Matthew's a tough gospel. I almost kind of feel like I have to get my jaw ready for the next 6 months because there is a lot of weeping and gnashing of teeth. One minute it seems like all is well and Jesus is kind of an easygoing guy, and then the next minute he's throwing down the gauntlet with fire and brimstone. Sometimes it's hard to square. In this gospel, we are warned about family divisions and loss of life. It leaves us a bit breathless and maybe even a bit fearful. Okay, Jesus, I know that you will protect me, but really? Is this what I have signed up for? So with that, I go back to the man on the beach throwing back the starfish. So why is it that his actions are not in vain? Why does he not lose hope? Because what is true about his actions and what is true about the gospel is that when we answer the call, we have to be prepared to do what is right, no matter the cost. And sometimes the results are not ones that the onlookers think are too impressive. Yet deep, buried deep within us is the knowledge that all people have the right to draw from the tree of life. And so we keep walking, and we keep doing the next right thing that's in front of us. Where I think that we get stuck sometimes is our belief that our discipleship is somehow like climbing a ladder, that somehow one rung at a time we're going to get to the top. Or that conversely, we'll do the wrong things and all the rungs will disappear from beneath our feet and will fall all the way back down to the ground. But Jesus says to us, "You are mine." Full stop. And along the way, the road most certainly will have moments of difficulty. These are not rungs on a ladder to achieve the next step, but rather this constant cycle of transformation and renewal. And if we take our faith lives seriously, we not only prepare for a future that we can't always see, but we know without a shadow of a doubt that it is never hopeless. It is an endless cycle of hope and renewal. On this weekend, as you all know, we marked the 50th anniversary of the upstairs lounge fire, in which 32 individuals lost their lives. The arson at the club, although officially unsolved, remains the deadliest crime against the LGBTQ+ community until the 2016 Pulse nightclub massacre. As so many other institutions and denominations turn their backs to these individuals, one priest from St. George's Episcopal Church stood bravely and clearly and said, St. George's is a place for all people. One man saw a city and a community hurting and knew without a shadow of a doubt what his role was. Was brother pitted against brother? Absolutely. Was there a cost? Without a doubt. I know that many of you have seen the letter that he wrote to the congregation, and if you haven't, it's on all your social media sites. It's an incredibly powerful letter. Not only does it speak to the very center of our gospel message today, but it also points to a level of conviction that was before his time. We did some research in our office, and in fact, I left it for Mother Stephanie. Not only was this was a moment for him, but it was the beginning of many more moments for Father Richardson. Over the years, for many years, he wrote resolution after resolution after resolution to diocesan convention advocating for the rights of the gay community. He saw every single life as precious. He was the man walking along the beach and picking up the starfish and casting it back into the sea. So how do we proclaim this news, this faith? How can we go deeper? This text acknowledges the chaos we live in, but promises a hope that will never abandon us, a hope that is never futile. What I believe so clearly is that if we commit to this life, and we have a wonderful group of individuals who are being baptized and confirmed and received and reaffirmed this morning, and we join with them, when we say we will, we are committing ourselves to walking along with them. We're committing ourselves to saying, we see you. We acknowledge your one precious, amazing life. And it is good. And we follow in the footsteps of Father Richardson. So I'll end with the words of Rachel Held Evans, a beautiful writer and voice in the wider church who we lost way too soon. She says, "But the gospel does not need a coalition devoted to keeping the wrong people out. It needs a family of sinners saved by grace, committed to tearing down the walls, throwing open the doors, and shouting, 'Welcome. There is bread and wine. Come eat with us and talk.' This isn't a kingdom for the worthy. It's a kingdom for the hungry." Amen.